Next up for Duke is South Dakota, and the Coyotes are probably up against it. Duke will be a tough opponent of course, though South Dakota has built a solid program. In his first 2 seasons, South Dakota was over and under .500, but not by much either time. Last year though, the Coyotes made the NIT. At an elite school that's no big deal, but for South Dakota, that's a significant accomplishment. Keep in mind that South Dakota is a state of less than 1 million and the hometown of USD, Vermillion, is less than 11,000. South Dakota competes in the Summit League with the likes of Denver, IUPUI, Nebraska Omaha, NDSU, Oral Roberts, SDSU and Western Illinois. There's not a lot of tradition there, so getting to the postseason is admirable. As we said, South Dakota is up against it playing a team like Duke, on the road, but it's probably worse because the Coyotes have been one busy team. They played on the 18th, the 20th, the 24th, 25th, 26th and 30th. That's more like an NBA schedule than college. Duke has played a lot too, but the Blue Devils have the advantage of sleeping in their own beds and resting a bit. Like a lot of teams down the food chain, USD doesn't have a ton of size. They do start a 610 center Tyler Hagedorn, Jr., 225, and he averages a respectable 13.2 ppg and 5.1 rpg. Their forwards though are 66 Trey Birch Manning Jr. and 63 Matt Mooney, also a junior. Mooney averages 18.3 ppg and 3.8 rpg. Birch Manning 7.2 ppg and 7.8 rpg. Senior Carlton Hurst is 63 and averages 7.4 ppg and 4.7 rpg, while 62 sophomore Tristan Simpson puts up 8 ppg and 3.3 apg. Coach Craig Smith is apparently a fine teacher. His team is top 25 nationally in field goal percentage, defense at 37%. As far as Duke is concerned, we now have a pretty good idea of where the team stands. Marvin Bagley may be the best player in the country. Grayson Allen may be the best senior in the country. Wendell Carter's talent is somewhat overshadowed by Bagley, but he is far superior in strength and has a true post game. Trevin Duval is a talented point guard who doesn't yet shoot well and who hasn't taken control of his team. Gary Trent has shown that he is an unusually intelligent player. People think he can't shoot well, it's just that he hasn't done it consistently. The primary bench players are Marcus Bolden, who is carving out an interesting role, Javin Delorier, who has emerged as a critical player off the bench who can give the team both a jolt of athleticism and versatility, and Alex O'Connell, who though still quite thin, has more than proved he belongs. The trip to Oregon for the PK80 was a ringing success in many ways. Many people have called it the best tournament ever, and Duke showed great character and resolve in mounting 3 comebacks. Portland State was far better than anyone dreamed, while both Texas and particularly Florida are going to be heard from. But the rush of games over the last part of November didn't allow Duke much time to work on the sort of issues every team has. Defense has been a real issue, as has start-to-finish intensity. And as you probably remember, Coach K famously says he has 3 systems: offense, defense and communication. The offense is doing well, so expect the focus to fall on the latter too. And expect the traditional holiday tweaks to continue as well. We won't know what they are until we see them, but we'd guess a couple of guys will get more minutes and a chance to try to fill some different needs. When the game is somewhat quiet, we might hear louder voices. Whatever it is, there will be some interesting things to see and possibly hear. One of the standard bits of advice we give is to the first several plays to see what the focus is. If you see, say, the ball to go Wendell Carter 3 times in a row, you can reasonably assume that that's been a focus. If Duke comes out in a ferocious man-to-man, well, that's been talked about. That's why to us, in many ways, the games in December are the most interesting of all. Let's see what the staff and team have learned, because it's a time for growth.